and dreamers, open the gate. Supercross stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
Welcome, everyone. I am so excited for today's episode. We have with us Natalie King. She's the CEO of Dunamis Charge, and she's a powerhouse, right? She is a big deal, and this is a really cool discussion. You're just not going to want to miss this, so stick around. Natalie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you so much for having me on and the kind introduction. I really appreciate it. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, thank you. You know, uh, we are at a really interesting point in kind of a climate solutions oriented shift toward
Yes.
EVs. And, there's a huge friction point. And for a long time, I've been driving EVs for forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
hmm
say forever. But the last time I owned a car that wasn't an EV was more than a decade ago. It's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've long thought it was a bit of a fiction that there isn't enough charging infrastructure. And yet, what I'm finding is that the demand for chargers has exceeded the supply of chargers in recent years. And so for the first time, I'm really experiencing that as an EV driver, that you
Indeed.
show up to a charging station and you got to wait for an hour to get a charge.
hmm
That's a problem. And
That's a problem.
so there's the Biden administration has got some great funding going, but there's a special little piece of this that you are particularly well suited to take advantage of. And we're talking
Indeed.
billions of dollars, right? Uh,
Yes.
tell us about tell us about the angle here that especially applies to Dunamis Charge and how you're going to take advantage of this.
Yeah. Devin, it's been so much conversation with respect to the EV adoption rate and how that has not been exactly what the automotive industry and even the government, with this tremendous multi-billion-dollar investment that it has made in the EV industry and in EV infrastructure. The hope was that the EV adoption rate and the demand for EV would be really growing significantly at this point. And while I do believe that it is growing, it hasn't grown at the pace that everyone anticipated. So the conversation now is, well, let's pull back on EV infrastructure because the demand for EVs is not growing as fast as we thought it would be. And it's the chicken and the egg scenario. You don't want to produce as many electric vehicles for the OEMs. We have Ford and General Motors and Stellantis and all of these other OEMs that are saying, well, we're going to let's move to hybrids, or let's pull back on our expected volumes. But the reason why the EV adoption rate is slowing down more than what we anticipated is because of the EV infrastructure. So the chicken and the egg scenario, I find to be an opportunity for Dunamis Charge, because the truth of the matter is you do have real range anxiety for EV drivers and for those that have the interest in purchasing an EV or driving an EV, but won't because the EV infrastructure is not there. And Dunamis Charge is really ready and able to bring reliable electric vehicle infrastructure to the American public. So by having a EV charging manufacturing plant that's right here, located in the city of Detroit, the heart of the Motor City, using skilled labor that comes from the automotive industry, that we built things in Michigan, we build things in Detroit, and we have done so for a very, very long time and done it well. So we're uniquely positioned to take advantage of all of the, as you stated, the billions of dollars that are being invested right now in this EV infrastructure industry, and to make it well, and to make it right here in America, and to employ workers from America to build it. And so I think that we can bring a really great, and we are bringing a great offering to the country through our efforts in ensuring that you have a great product that you can rely on, and that it's dispersed dispersed in, equal and with equality in all neighborhoods, so that you won't have to wait for an entire hour in order to charge your car.
Yeah. So it seems to me that in some of the legislation passed with
Hmm.
bipartisan support, infrastructure bill and the Inflation Reduction Act, these two laws came into being with some support for, um, I think, for women and minority-owned businesses and for neighborhoods that are traditionally underserved. And you're well positioned to take advantage of that money, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the cherry on top for us. Dunamis Charge has always been focused on equitable and paritable distribution of electric vehicle infrastructure resources for all communities. So one of our slogans is EV is for everyone. And our goal is to make that transition to EV adoption easy for all communities. And that means that those communities that are disenfranchised, that have been underserved or underrepresented with respect to resources that go towards climate change and improving the air quality and the environmental positioning of those communities. We want to make sure that those communities are not left behind in this. And so the administration's focus on the IRA and the which is the Inflation Reduction Act, and the BIL, which is the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, does carve out opportunity for funding those communities, environmental justice communities, low income communities, urban communities, rural communities, to ensure that they too have the opportunity for EV infrastructure deployment, using this really tremendous, in my opinion, once in a lifetime type of investment from our federal government. It is really spurring what I call the fourth industrial revolution through this EV industry. And the Justice 40 initiative, which ensures that at least 40% of the funding for IRA, BIL goes towards those underserved, underrepresented communities, rural communities, environmental justice communities that would not otherwise have the ability to participate. So we want to serve as a bridge to those communities because we already work in those communities. We hire from those communities, and we have been over the last decade. And we believe that we can not only bring the EV deployment as an opportunity, or EV charger deployment, we can bring the education, the community engagement that's going to have to go hand in hand for those communities that don't think that EV is for them. They don't believe that they can afford it and don't know of ways to make it more affordable for them, may not have an understanding of the environmental impacts and even the economic, benefits of adopting electric vehicles. So we want to be that bridger of the gap there, so that all communities have the ability and the benefit of participating in this now.
Yeah, it seems to me
Mhm.
that EVs have never been more affordable than they are right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for two fundamental reasons. One, we now have a rich supply of used EVs, right? They're
Mhm.
now, it's not, you can find a 10-year-old EV now.
Yeah,
Wow.
you can.
That's so,
Yeah.
so you don't approaching rich.
Yeah.
You don't have to know where you're going to charge it. And if you don't
Indeed.
have a good place to charge it at home, you got to have it in the neighborhood.
Gotta have it in
So,
there.
and we're
Yeah,
also seeing price competition for the new cars, right? So
absolutely.
Tesla, especially, has just been slashing prices over the last year. So it's
Yeah.
never been easier to buy an EV. So tell us a little bit about how Dunamis Charge is making it easier to charge in your neighborhood, in your community, so
Yeah.
that you're not constrained necessarily to charging at home if that's not a
Right.
good situation for you.
Yeah. And Devin, it's all about the engagement and the education aspects that I just referred to. Um, we know that the majority of all people charge at home. like about 80% or more at this point charge at home. But as urban planning develops and there are more multifamily homes that are being built, we know that there are going to be public charging resources that have to be deployed in order to make EV adoption really work. And so charging at your workplace, charging at retail, charging in hotels or hospitals or parking structures, that's going to have to be available for the public. And charging along these highway corridors, if you're taking, long trips or, road trips, you have to have the EV charging accessible like you would, or at least commensurate to what you would see at a gas station, to make people feel comfortable and safe in its adoption. And so the one thing that we are doing right now as an example of bridging that gap is we created a program called the Communities in Charge program. And Communities in Charge is a program that Dunamis created a little over a year ago, where we partner with utility partners to tie their incentive programs in for electric vehicle charging deployment into community. And so what we've done initially is we've brought in faith-based organizations and nonprofit organizations to partner with us for EV deployment. And in return, they allow us to go into their houses of worship, into their organizations and nonprofits to talk to their membership base about what EV adoption is. I always say, Devin, that you can't be what you can't see. And so for many of these communities, the thought of an EV is, that rich guy out in the suburbs, driving a Tesla or, some other car that they can't afford, and that they don't see EV chargers in their communities. So what we want to do is go to where the community is and teach them about why EV. How does it impact my family? How does it impact my pocketbook? How does it impact my environment and my health? Why is this important for me to engage in and adopt short term and long term? And how do I do it? Like, what's the experience of driving a EV? Everybody that drives a EV, including me, loves it. I'll never go back to an ICE vehicle. I love my EV. But if you've not even driven an EV, you don't know what it is. You don't know what the experience is. And so it's to demystify the process, right? And so in order to do that, you have to actually go into the communities and engage. And so in that way, we have the ability with our utility partners to go in, provide, educational materials, and let the community know these incentives are here for you. The IRA established a $7,500 credit for uh, 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 new, leased, and used electric vehicles. You don't even, a lot of people don't even know that you can use a credit to purchase a used vehicle that's an EV. So these are things that, we're bringing information to the community to engage them. And then even in addition to that, we're bringing the opportunity for them, for the community to understand about all economic opportunities, including workforce development, job training. So we're, as we go in, we say, hey, drive an EV. But
Yeah.
if you just so happen to need a job, we're hiring in this space. Build the electric vehicle charging stations, install the electric vehicle charging stations, operate and maintain the electric vehicle charging stations. There's so much that is offered in this industry right now, and Dunamis Charge is very uniquely positioned to really, as I said, be that bridger for the gaps that remain in the industry. While doing so,
No,
I,
that's
I call it
fantastic.
kind of like doing good while being very good at what you do. That's our
That's good. That's good. Hey,
yeah.
we're running a little short on time, but I've got to ask you this. Your business is not a startup in the sense that this is a business plan raising capital. You
Right.
you have revenue and you project good revenue growth. Tell us a little bit about your existing revenue and your forecasts.
Certainly, certainly. So Dunamis Charge is really the spinoff of a division from Dunamis Clean Energy Partners. I'm the founder and CEO of Dunamis Clean Energy Partners as well, and that we have been in operations for over 12 years there, and very profitable company, 150 plus employees there. That has really helped us to undergird Dunamis Charge, and so we created Dunamis Charge as a standalone entity from our efforts in clean energy technology at Dunamis Clean Energy Partners. And we now have about 25 employees. We are projecting revenues, up to about $12 million for this year. We are currently launching, in production now for our level 2 commercial chargers, in product development for our DC fast chargers, fully vertically integrated. So, designed, engineered, built, prototyped right here, tested, verified, and certified right here in the city of Detroit. So it's a truly an American-made product made by American workers. We're very, very proud of that, and we, have some really great purchase orders, coming out of the gate. We have very strong relationships with the OEM community, the utility community, the local municipal community, as well as our, major corporations. And so the future looks very bright for us. We're really excited about our deployments that are, that we're doing right now within the city of Detroit, throughout the state of Michigan, Georgia, California, and many more to come. So
Yeah.
it's an exciting time for us, and the company is growing and is going to continue to grow in a very fast pace.
That's great. Now, you're also raising money on Rise Up crowdfunding, right? So
Yes.
people can learn more about the offering and invest right there as they're watching at riseupcrowdfunding.com, right?
Absolutely. Rise Up is a phenomenal new platform that was created specifically to support women-owned businesses, entrepreneurs, minority-owned businesses, and Dunamis is proud to be one of the first 3 offerings on that platform. And so we're doing a $5 million crowdfund raise, and very excited about that. We wanted to raise the capital through a Regulation CF because not only, of course, every business needs capital to run. We put a lot of skin in the game ourselves. I self-funded the company for pre-seed and seed capital for it. But we also wanted to create, ambassadors for what we're doing as the first African American woman-owned electric vehicle charging manufacturer in the world. We knew that there were so many people that were proud of that. There were so many people within the community that wanted to support that as a small woman-owned business and as a U.S. based business, that we thought that it would be great for us to not just go the VC route or the private equity route to raise the capital, but to allow the community that we're so focused on serving to be a part of what we're building, and to be a part of the success of the company by,
Wow,
providing them with a great investment opportunity. So we're
that's
we're we're
great.
really
That's
we're
great.
really happy about it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we're excited. I want to see you succeed with that.
Thank you.
Listen, everybody, I'm here today with Natalie King, the CEO and founder of Dunamis Charge, and we're talking about her high-tech EV charging company made in America, Dunamis Charge. When we come back, we're going to talk to her about her superpowers, so stick around. You don't want to miss this.
You can get in on the ground floor to help fix the climate crisis for as little as $100. Pause now to scan the QR code to get started or visit s4g.biz/raisegreen. You can be a green at Raise Green.
Want to learn from the world's great change makers? Find your superpower. Subscribe to the Superpowers for Good newsletter at superpowersforgood.com. Make your strengths into superpowers that will change the world. Join the super crowd today. Superpowers4good.com.
Hope to raise money from the impact crowd. Good investors are as interested in community, social or environmental impact as you. Connect with Funding Hope, an SEC-registered FINRA member crowdfunding portal to learn how to raise capital from the impact crowd. Scan the QR code now.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with Natalie King, CEO of Dunamis Charge, and we've been talking about the business. We're going to shift gears now and talk to her about her superpower. So stick around. Natalie, you are an extraordinarily impressive human being. You've done so much, accomplished so much with the growth of your businesses. But what is your superpower?
Well, I truly believe, Devin, that my superpower is faith. The company is really premised upon faith and innovation and giving back to the community. But in order for me to have even survived for the last 12 years in the clean energy technology space, barely being just one of a few, it's not, overly filled with women. It's not overly filled with minority women, especially. And so that alone, I would say, the faith has propelled me to continue going and to really create a path that has been somewhat uncharted. And so faith allowed me to move forward in a vision where I couldn't really see from the onset how I was going to get there. I just knew that I was, and I knew that I was supposed to. And so it allowed me to continue to persevere in times that were challenging and sometimes discouraging and sometimes just downright pulling my hair out, like, what are we going to do? What's going to be the next steps, as a small business that's growing and fledgling and in a new territory. It can get kind of rough sometimes,
Sure, sure.
and the
Can you think of
faith.
an
Yeah.
example to illustrate that?
Oh, so many, so many. We don't have enough time to, to
How
illustrate
about
that.
one?
But I will say that one of our biggest challenges was when was capital raising. It was our biggest challenge, and to date it really has been access to capital. And so I remember just going to bank after bank, and I would get these packages together, and the banks would say, oh my god, this is wonderful, your concept is brilliant, Natalie, you're going to be so successful, and we love you as the founder, and we believe in your vision, and we're certain that we'll be able to give you a line of credit to help you with these material purchases and your inventory. And it would come down to it. And I mean, this was multiple times. Oh, well, there were too many inquiries on your credit report, or there was this, or we're just gonna wait for a moment until you grow. And I'm like, well, I need you to grow. I can't, I can't have you wait. And so that was really challenging. And what I learned from that was, what many, seasoned business owners tell me, like, get the money before you need it. You know, get it while the getting is good. So that has been one thing that has propelled me to keep going, and the resources will come irrespective of what anyone else says. I believe that resources, money, support follows passion and vision. I really do. I think that it'll find you versus you finding it. And that's where my faith has led me. But there have been a number. I mean, just from launching an entire manufacturing plant from the ground up.
I can only
That is,
imagine.
and I didn't imagine,
Yeah,
but I learned
yeah.
very quickly, all of the things that come along with that. But when what I have truly learned, and I've seen it not just in my own life, but in the life of many people that I know, entrepreneurs, careers, education, if you persevere and you just trust and you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, everything will work out. Yeah.
That's great. Before
Mhm.
we wrap up, quickly, can you share some guidance on people how they can learn more about Dunamis Charge, how they can connect with
Sure.
you personally or follow you on social media, and
Uh,
remind them how to find Rise Up crowdfunding to invest?
Absolutely. So if you want to learn more about Dunamis Charge, please go to dunamischarge.com, www.dunamischarge.com, to link with, everything about our products and our team members and our initiatives are right there on that website. If you'd like to learn more about our crowdfund, you can go to riseupcrowdfund.com backslash Dunamis Charge. And also on our webpage, dunamischarge.com, you can find out and learn more about how to invest. And that site will take you directly to the Rise Up Crowdfund site. You can link with me on LinkedIn, and my handle is Natalie King ESQ, which is my handle on most social medias, whether it's Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, and I think we now have something even on TikTok. So you
There
can
you go.
you can find me
Excellent.
most places. Natalie King ESQ is my social media handle, but LinkedIn is usually where I go for
Fantastic.
professional.
Well, Natalie, thank you so much for being with us
Thank
today. We
you.
want to wish you every success.
Thank you so much, Devin. Thank you for having me. It's been great. Really fun.
All righty. Let's do some good.